happened in the 90s.
Join us live, the Fox Theater, Atlanta, Georgia, Friday, February 19th, our Kickin' pay-per-view concert special. Live! We've invited some friends to help celebrate our 20th anniversary. Charlie Daniels, Peter Frampton, Tom Kiefer, Brett Michaels, Travis Tritt, Zach Wilde, and Donnie Van Zandt. Leonard Skinner and Friends live, Friday, February 19th on pay-per-view. Join us! Oh, free birthday!
And Steve, hope you're well. Hope you've had a restful
Chilling.
holiday weekend.
Yeah.
No, okay.
I don't celebrate that shit, man. Like I stopped caring. Like
The day off.
I don't know.
That's what I celebrate.
It's a day off. You know what I'm saying? It's time to get barbecue. You know what I'm saying? I'm with that shit. Smoke a little extra
and get barbecued, Steve. Ayo.
Yeah, get skewered. Snickered.
Get snickered. I'm snickered.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Coolio. Steve, I saw a movie that as a 90s fan, I think you need to check out if you haven't seen it. It was recently, it's a theater movie, but it was released on Paramount Plus, which with even through all the negativity we've spewed there, at least they got this out. Sonic 2. The sequel to Sonic. Steve, I don't know if you saw the original, but this movie it's good. I know I keep coming with kid movies, but maybe that's the only quality we have left.
No, there's some shit. I have yet to see Doctor Strange. I heard that was really good.
It's
I
good.
like the first one.
It's
didn't care for
trippy.
it?
Yeah, no, it's good. I think. See, I'm susceptible to the hype beast, so I get online and you see people think like, "Oh, this is gonna happen and this is gonna happen." You just picture like this immaculate, crazy extravaganza in your head, and it was good, dude. It was. But I like the Spider-Man movie more than this. The first Doctor Strange, I was sick. Like that's when I got when I had cancer. So I never really I watched that movie and never really paid attention to it. But the second one's fun, man. There's a lot of cool shit. They have all the cameos everybody talks about. But Sonic 2, Steve, it's a sequel that Mutant might not even, the first one was good. This second one, if this is Jim Carrey's last movie, which he says it is.
Oh, really?
Goes out. He's so comically, he's the villain in the movie. So comically over the top. It's like classic Jim Carrey. It's hilarious. He makes the movie, obviously, because otherwise it would be James Marsden and the voices of Idris Elba and some guy that I think was on Parks and Rec, John Ralphio. If you know who that is.
I don't, but Idris was in this?
He's Knuckles, mate. Knuckles.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I'm not kidding you, but it's a kid's movie and it's fun. It's a fun movie. And if you like Sonic, like I got a Sega Genesis before I got a Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
And it came with Sonic 2. And literally the end of this movie recreates, there's like a Aztec ruins level in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. It recreates the level. They make fun of all this, the fact that he can't be in water and shit in the video game. They make fun of it. They have callbacks. And then Jim Carrey just fucking eats up the fucking scenes that he's in to full effect. So, and it's got good CG and shit too. So, full recommendation. I know you have some hesitation on it, but I'm telling you, it's got it. It's got what from a kid's movie. Don't expect like the greatest story of all time, but it's serviceable. It's good, man.
I don't have any reservation. I'm just lazy about watching shit. Like I still have to watch Doctor Strange, and I still haven't seen that Chip and Dale that you told me about.
Dude. Oh, and one thing I didn't mention about that movie that I also like that involves Sonic. I don't know if you remember that when the first Sonic the Hedgehog movie was about to come out, they released like a preview and they actually changed like the way Sonic looked because everybody said he was like ugly. I don't know
I
if you
remember
ever
that. It looked like Sonic on meth.
exactly. Well,
Yeah.
in Chippendales, ugly Sonic makes a cameo in that movie as himself. We're at like the shows that the Chip is going to, like the like to sign autographs, and he's like salty about it, and they reference it. And I don't know how they did that legally, but it's hilarious. So
Chronic the warthog.
he just calls himself Ugly Sonic. He just owns up to it. So
Man, the ugly Jason of hedgehogs.
man, the public was like, no, you can't get a gun off of the fucking out of the United States hands of a fucking citizen, but Sonic the Hedgehog, that changed immediately. It took like a day, and they were like, sorry about that.
And respect to the makers, man. They listen to the people. Our voices were heard. All of the meme sharing and all the jokes. Like, do better. Like, don't fuck up.
If you're gonna bite off something that exists already, people are gonna want what they want. So why not listen to that? Why try to change it and then have to suffer through? You might make a great movie and they're like, fucking Sonic's teeth aren't right, and you're like, sorry, fucking 99% of this shit was fire. Sorry about that.
I thought it was all gums, and I never seen his teeth in the video game.
That's the last thing I would think. I would be like, maybe the shoes or some shit, but
yeah, I thought he was wearing Nikes.
But I enjoyed it, man. There's a lot of shit coming out. Like fucking Stranger Things came out this weekend. I don't know if you're into that. We fucking
I never was.
A couple episodes of that shit. That shit was fire.
Well, Jordan tried to really push that shit on me. Like when it first came out, I just like it was one of the weeks I was visiting LA, and I was just I was on my phone. He's like, "Dude, you're not watching it." Like, yeah, motherfucker, I know. This shit, like, man.
You just gotta get. It's like one of those things. It's like I'm sure I was like that with Game of Thrones. People are like, you have to watch this show. This show is one of the greatest pieces of cinema TV of all time. I was like, I tried to watch 3 and it was like a guy fucking his sister or some shit. There, I think I saw a scene where somebody got their dick cut off. Like, okay.
I don't need to see that. Wake me up for the fuck scenes.
For the fuck, call me in when they're putting the screws to a bitch, really going in. But
when they running that choo-choo on her. Okay, the scene over with. All right, man, I'm about to go make a sandwich.
I mean, every time I see medieval scenes like that, it's just like I always just think to myself, like, what does this smell like, guys? Like when fucking in what's that fucking Mel Gibson movie? Freedom.
Braveheart.
Yeah, like he and this chick are like in love in the beginning, and every time I watched that movie as a kid, even as a kid, I was like, ugh, they're all fucking like. Smells like old salami in that fucking mud hut that they're gonna fucking bang in, dude.
Hummus and pumice.
Yeah, dude, hummus. That's it. That's the one.
What? Have you checked out that George Carlin documentary on HBO Max?
No, you told me about it like the other day. I'm gonna check it out this week for sure.
Yeah,
it's just about him.
It's about his whole career, man. And it's got different chapters, man, because, he goes back to the 60s when, people were wearing suits and shit, for their public appearances. And he's kind of got the same trajectory as Richard Pryor. They both kind of had clean acts. They went to Cali with the hippies, kicked it with the hippies, dropped some LSD, did some shrooms, smoked weed. You're like, you know what? It would be way more gangster if I was more of myself. And then just Carlin and Pryor, man. And like once they became themselves, they were icons. They were unique. They were saying things that like haven't been thought about, or things that have been thought about, but just like the way they put it, it's like, oh, dude, you're fucking geniuses. And
just testing the limits and shit.
Testing the limits, man. The whole 7 words you can't say, like that shit was before our time, but that was like, that's a big deal because we still hear about it, man.
Well, and even when we were kids, I remember seeing that shit and just being like, this shit is fucking sick.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. He's cursing, Yeah. But also, I think the thing that I hear, and I guess you respect it a lot, and that's kind of what comedy is now, is like Richard Pryor's like, that dude was, he wasn't talking about some shitty TV show he watched or like going to the mall and like, he was talking about like a crack pipe lighting him on fire. He would like talk about his life and how fucked up it really was. And I think that's at that time was super revolutionary, you know?
Hell yeah. Like, that's not an easy conversation to have.
That's
Remember
always
that
the best
time?
comedy is when it's a guy who's just like, you know, even Dave Chappelle, he makes it funny because he's literally one of the greatest of all time, but he was talking about fucked up shit. And that's what a comedian does. He talks about really fucked up shit sometimes and makes it funny. That's his job or her job.
They're not concerned about censors or any of that shit. It's about making people laugh.
Yeah, and that's why this all like kind of this time sucks now. Is like they have to worry about all that, like in a way they didn't before. Because instead of, you know, going on TV and maybe getting the TV channel in trouble for saying fuck,
yeah,
they, you know, might catastrophically fuck up their career if they just say a joke that might be a little off color or some shit.
I didn't know George Carlin had a phase where people were saying he fell off, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, there was a lot, you know, because I think that you hear a lot about even like people like Chris Rock, they go into comedy clubs and they'll just sort of meander through an act and like they're trying to figure it out. But it's them like reading out of a notebook or rambling on stage for too long. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the modern day equivalent. But like, I think that was one of those things that was talked about with George Carlin, that maybe he just didn't give a fuck anymore for a while. Like, and he would just be like, yeah, whatever. And just like read out of a notebook and fuck around and stuff. But it wasn't an act, you know?
Yeah. They were saying that like his career died in the 70s. And they showed how like he felt about like seeing these criticisms and people saying like he fell off, he's passe. And I think that added to him being like that cantankerous, like, you know what fucking bothers me? And that is the shit we like, man. I look forward to those parts in his stand-up, man. And that became like a thing, like a recurring thing in his gigs. And he did a special for like, he would do a special for like every year, man.
He started definitely. He was like, for a while, I feel like back in the day, it was like years people would go without putting a special out, but he was one of those first guys that was like maybe once every 2 years, which was a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah. Sometimes I think he did back to back. Like Cat Williams had a little, this was before Cat Williams, but Cat Williams did that. Like, I think he had a special like every year for like 3 years straight.
Yeah. I think like Louis C.K. was like the first guy modern times that was really doing that, where like other comedians were like, oh, he's doing it, I got to now do this. So a lot more people do that now because of that shit. But I remember people talking about that when I would first listen to like Joe Rogan, when that podcast first started.
Yeah.
And that was when like Louis C.K. had a show, he was touring, he was in movies, he was writing movies, you know, he's just ultra successful. And that's one of the things they said was like, yeah, we got to fucking like keep up with this dude. You know, that's the
can't keep up with Louis C.K.
That motherfucker. I mean, say what you, I feel bad that he had to go through so much shit for what happened, but I'm not even going to talk about that. But it's like, it's cool to see him kind of come back, because he had to struggle to make it. Like, I watched that dude had shows. He was made, you know, his comedy completely changed. He changed so much, and he finally was like somebody that I took a lot of inspiration from, because one of the things that when he was making like Louis the show, you know, that was a professional show. It was on FX. But that dude had the same laptop. I had a MacBook Pro. He had the same exact laptop I had, and he edited that show that was on FX on he was the editor. He wrote that shit, they shot it, and he edited it on a laptop and presented that shit to FX. And that, I remember thinking, like, I don't know if it was when I was in film school or after, but I just remember being like, that same like thing that maybe Robert Rodriguez made me think about, which was just like, use what you got. And he took that all the way to having a show on fucking FX, you know?
Yeah.
And shout out to Robert Rodriguez, because I didn't realize this. That dude directed, there was a show called Boba Fett for Star Wars on Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
That dude's directing shows for Disney, dude. He went from making all that little chintzy shit in the 90s and showing other people how to make movies in the 90s and 2000s on all his DVDs. And now he's directing Marvel shows and shit. It's fucking so cool.
Power moves, man. Where is your fandom now on that universe, man? What from 1 to 10?
I'd say it's like a 7.5, 8. before
Still rock
Doctor
with,
Strange and like Spider-Man, it was higher. Like those last Avengers movies I really liked, but you know, I think also it's just overabundance. Even they're making shows and the shows are almost better than the movie. Like that, there was a show called
Yeah.
Peacemaker that Cena was in that,
Yeah.
I mean, it's DC, it's not Marvel, but it's better than anything that's ever been done DC except the Michael Keaton movies, as far as I'm concerned. That shit was as good as the Suicide Squad movie it came from. So I don't know. I enjoy it, but I like blockbusters, Steve. I was surprised I didn't go see that Top Gun movie, even though I have no love of the original and I don't really care about this new one. I just love a blockbuster. I can't help it.
I ain't seeing that shit. I don't fuck with Tom Cruise, fucking weirdo. That's why Katie Holmes left his ass. Like, nah, me and my baby leaving. I'll see you in child support court, you fucking 4 foot.
Probably still getting paid off all that.
Do you think he had to climb?
He has like a gun. They're like, we have a gun pointed at your house, man. Don't say anything to Mr. Cruz. It's probably what it is.
Because I heard some things, man. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, if not like a sniper, some fucking stalker keeping
Just like
tabs on her,
she
man.
gets like a photo on her phone from some like blocked number of her kid at school. Like, hey, Scientology just checking in. It's like, oh, this is really dark, guys. Just letting you know.
Like, you can't call me. I'm working right now. Like, you've called me twice.
From Tom Cruise. He's like, hey, this is just me. He's like doing like FaceTimes. Yeah. Just wanted to let you know I still know where you live. Top Gun's coming out. Go see it.
Yeah. Remember Risky Business? Yeah. Do you think he had to climb her to have sex?
I don't think they ever had sex, Steve.
Oh, Zuri was a test tube baby.
It's probably just some other dude's baby, or maybe he just fucking nutted in a tube. I mean, you can do that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Make a baby like that, but I don't know. I think that's one of those weird things where, you know, he's into whatever he's into, and I don't think it's chicks. Let's put it like that. And that's even none of my business. I just don't think. I think that was like people would be surprised. There's probably a lot of marriages in Hollywood that may or may not be for things other than love, you know.
Oh yeah,
he's a motherfucker. So
for real, that's been a thing.
And that guy has had to be famous since the 80s. I mean, we're 40 years into this guy. I mean, 50 years in, I don't know. Yeah. But the guy's had to maintain fame through all this. And like now to be famous, is it such an even more intense thing than it was when like all you had to do was be handsome in the 80s, you know?
And he was that. Bitches liked him in the 80s.
You didn't have to like know about Tom Cruise. All you knew was he's hot. I want to fuck that guy or girl. And that's all you knew about celebrities. You didn't know all this crazy shit now. So now it's like he has to fly an F-16 in a movie. So you don't remember all the weird shit you've heard about him and like all the Ellen show jumping on couches and whatnot.
On Oprah, yeah. Doesn't work on me, Tommy. Doesn't work on me.
He's like, okay, I'm gonna go to the moon, I guess. What else can I do, guys? I'm gonna commit suicide on film. This is the last draw. This is all I can do.
Now I would pay to see that in the theater. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if one of these, like, he's been strapped to a plane on the outside taking off. He flew a fucking plane, from what I understand, for this Top Gun movie. And they did shit that was quote unquote unheard of for an actor, which that's Hollywood, blah, blah, blah. But the guy continually does his own stunts. He fucks himself up, does insane shit that honestly, if I was an actor that was, even if I was on the decline, I'd be like, no, I'm not going to jump a gap between buildings just using my own muscles. I'm not going to do that. Have the other guy that looks like me do that, you know?
You got to really be a fan to watch his shit, because like the fact that this little 4'6" motherfucking Gary Coleman built motherfucker is an action star. I ain't seen none of those Mission Impossibles. He had this one movie called Jack Reacher. And when I was working for Fucks in the Woodlands, Texas, we would air the fucking commercials for Jack Reacher. I'm like, oh, so he's supposed to be like the smart aleck dude. He always on top of the game. He shoots these one-liners and he just beats ass. Like, really, motherfucker, you ain't kicking nobody's ass, Tom Cruise. Get the fuck out of here. I ain't buying that.
Or when they were talking about making that, they had to like put him on boxes and shit when they were filming, you know.
Exactly.
He's whooping these huge dudes' ass. And like, Tom, this isn't
Right.
gonna work, dude. Like, you're supposed to be a 6'6" He-Man. I don't know. I don't know.
You're supposed to be the star in Top Gun, but like all your co-stars will whip your ass. Val Kilmer, he'll mop your ass. And
Even
shit,
now.
even Anthony Edwards.
Val Kilmer now will, yeah, Anthony Edwards would just throw a fucking just ass beating on that dude.
With his glasses intact. The motherfucker from Revenge of the Nerds. Yeah, he'll beat your ass too, Don Bruce.
He'll throw you in the
Motherfucking
ER. He's gonna throw you, and he'll know what to do too, or at least the words to say. He's like,
Stat.
"Oh, that's a laceration, guy. That's a hematoma. You're gonna want to You're gonna want to put some ice on that, Tom. That's a hematoma. I fucking just fucked your ass up, dude."
Man, shit, Kelly Preston could have. Was that her name? The chick, his love interest on that shit. She probably beat his ass. Now
They showed a fucking ageism motherfucker. I'll just say that, Steve. That's wild.
Man, she looked like stale oatmeal.
Super Bowl Sunday, Publishers Clearinghouse could surprise you with $10 million live on TV.
Let's go.
The bad news is we might catch you off guard. The good news is,
Well, look at this.
who cares?
Hey, boys and girls, this is Steve G and Maggie with Happened in the 90s, a show where we talk about things that happened in the 90s. So get out your Beastie Boy posters and your No Limit chains because, na, 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 make them say, na, 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 na.
Man, this P. Man, this ain't no motherfucking P. Man, hang the phone up.
You gonna make them say, I make them say, ah. You do make them say, ah.
Man, if this P, let me hear you say, and this ain't no motherfucking P. Dude, that album's straight fire. I listened to that the other day in the gym.
Make them say, nah, nah, nah.
Make crack like this. Ghetto.
Is that off that album?
I think so.
No, that's Ghetto Dope. Make them say, is on,
it's on Ghetto D, isn't it?
On Ghetto D, yeah, that's on Ghetto D. But Make them say is on The Last Don.
Is it? I don't know. You might want to look that up because I don't think I bought The Last Don.
I did look it up, motherfucker. That's what we're gonna be talking about today.
Well, fuck, dude. Why are you fucking throwing me out under the bus like this in front of all?
Well, we all know you don't do your research
fans.
like that, Matt. I still love you though.
Steve, I did a lot of research. I watched Fluke, okay, and I have copious notes about it. So how dare you?
Man, yeah, you more prepared. Oh, you know what, man? Like, I'm a piece of shit. Ghetto D does have Make them say,
oh,
he needs some milk.
Oh, hey, you called me out, dude. Steve, slap your damn self.
Well, you know, I call myself out. I'll call back to previous episodes. I'm not above that.
Well, thank you for
is.
giving me, at least letting me know that I'm not completely stupid, because that was banging in Matt's car at some point on the Iowa in the Chrysler Concorde. I was trying to make him say in Perrysburg, just fucking mobbing around, chilling, Steve, smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, suburban gangster.
I'm from the streets, man. G-Unit.
But to be fair though, on The Last Down, there's a Make them say too. So that's where my confusion started.
Is it the same beat, just some new like cameos, or what are we listening to here? I don't remember Make them say too.
It's got the same people. It's got Mia X, Silk the Shocker,
Mystical,
and Fiend, but it doesn't have Mystical, but Snoop Dogg's in this one.
Dude, remember when Snoop had one album on? Was it only one on No Limit? I think it was just his.
The Game Is to Be Sold, Not Told.
Yeah,
I think that might be. I don't know if there was another one.
He got in and out though. I love that. He went to the most successful label that existed
at the time. Yeah, and P showed him love. Still to this day, man. He's like, dude, P really looked out for me. P's just a stand-up dude by all accounts, man.
He doesn't get talked about enough as being one of the best business people that came out of hip hop. But now that I say that, I feel like that's an over exaggeration.
He's up there. I mean,
Jay-Z,
as far as
though, I feel like
Jay-Z's the GOAT. for a lot of reasons, that being one of them. But yeah, you gotta have P up there, man. On top of just living a lot of dudes' pipe dream. Like he lived, like he had an NBA contract. He did a little bit of wrestling. He was on WCW Nitro and shit.
He was in the Nick Cage movies, Steve.
He was in movies, man. So
he had gold. His cribs was insanity, dude. He had gold. He had legit gold in his ceilings. Why? That's just an extravagance. I mean, damn, but that's why he's that successful. He could do that. I can't.
Yeah. Not yet.
I don't have a chain to be draped around my neck, Steve. And God, I want one so badly. But
you want a chain?
I just think it would be hilarious, Steve.
It would be. And if you're gonna wear a chain, you should also have a do-rag, like dude from Napoleon.
Hell yeah, dude. If you've ever seen Trailer Park Boys, there's a white rapper in that. That's what I'd look like, Steve.
I love it. Today we're talking about all things June 2nd. We're in the summertime. It's getting hot.
Summertime.
And starting off 1991, NBC broadcast the NBA Finals for the first time after the event aired on CBS for the previous 17 years. It was Michael Jordan's first NBA Finals appearance and Magic Johnson's last, and the last NBA Finals for the Los Angeles Lakers until 2000. This series would mark the end of the Lakers Showtime era and the beginning of the Chicago Bulls dynasty. I mean, this is the beginning, man. This is Mike's first title, and that's the team of the 90s, man. This is also the series where he did his infamous like MidAir Shift. And I remember that being a move on Bulls versus Lakers for Sega Genesis. And like every superstar had their like trademark move, and that was his. You get into the paint and he do his little shit.
Hell yeah.
Like
those teams have so many memorable, like I'm looking at Horace Grant right now.
Yeah.
That motherfucker was one of my, like he went to Orlando for a while too. I just remember like this fucking team was just stacked, and Michael Jordan just was, could you stop him? Absolutely not. Look at Magic. Facially looks exactly the same. He might have a little bit extra poundage on, but dude's still alive.
Still alive, man. Dude, he got richer after getting HIV. Like
he owns, like, yeah, actually, I think as far as like how he looked, remember when he had his show and shit? Remember
his talk
Magic
show.
Johnson? Remember that?
Yeah,
like,
I do.
Looked the same as an old man, and he seems to be moving around better than a lot of these old big men from the NBA back in the day. A lot of those dudes looks like their legs are about to snap in half. He's out there. He fucking he's alive. I mean, this guy proves also that money can also buy you a lot more time if you get a disease. Like he survived AIDS or HIV.
Yeah, HIV, man. The best medicine you can afford, man. I'm sure Jerry Buss looked out for him. That was his dude for years, man. And like one of my favorite personalities in sports. I don't hear bad things about him. Like you would think, being the star of this dynasty in the 80s, like getting any honey you wanted, man, superstar, you could be a dick. You could afford to be a dick. Like, yeah, I don't need you. Fuck you. He ain't got that in him.
He seems super, every time you see him on TV, well, I've only seen him in interviews. That's all I got to work with, but it seems like he's just like a nice dude, which considering he was one of the most famous athletes of all time, and his name was Magic. Like, right away, you're an NBA player, your name's Magic. How much pussy can you get in a day? I don't know.
Los Angeles at that, like one of the most storied franchises in California.
And you're a good basketball. It's like it all lines up, Steve. I mean, I'm surprised he's not like Mike Douglas. He's just like, I got that disease. It was just like an overabundance. That's what happened here.
Eating too much coochie. Let me know what the limit is.
Yeah. I mean, go get right up there, Steve. One less. You just got to figure out what that magic number is.
I start switching that. I already eat ass anyway. So, what do you get from that?
Great times. Great memories.
Oh yeah, man. Especially when you hear the moans. They like that shit. Yeah.
Okay.
Sidetrack Sally and Steve. But in 1992, Mariah Carey releases the album MTV Unplugged. This series or this franchise has already started. They had the Nirvana Unplugged, the Alice in Chains Unplugged. Even LL Cool J had a foray into it, man. But Mariah, man, she's one of the queen divas. She can still get that motherfucking work. And you know, I like it when women pick up that grown woman weight as they get into like their 30s and 40s. And Mariah she wears that well. And
She's like Salma Hayek. It just keeps like going right in that area you want it to be at. You know, it's not going anywhere else. It's just right where you want it to go, you know?
Some extra weight on them breasts, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Nice plump rump. You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't care about the gut. You know what I'm saying? You in your 40s, you can have a gut. Some good pussy around that gut.
built a comedy career just talking about fucking Mariah Carey after a certain point. Mm-hmm. Like, I gave her that good dick, though.
Lucky guy.
Dude, what? Yeah. What? I mean, who else? Who else has gotten this? I mean, I'm sure it's just a list of like famous names she's left in her wake, just destroyed. Where do you go after that?
Wasn't she married to the old dude that owns the company she worked for? I can't even call his name.
Probably. And salute to her for doing that.
Yeah. That's not an easy job. Yeah.
That's the toughest job. Anna Nicole Smith type situation where you just got to eat some public opinion and eat some old wrinkly balls.
Wrinkly? What is old wrinkly balls?
Yeah, you're so hot the way you breathe. Yeah.
I like the blue in your arms. So hot.
That vein that's on your really dilapidated ass cheek. It looks like a flattened white tire. Yeah, that's great.
That liver spot on your stomach looks like a pepperoni. It's so hot.
Okay, let me give you that 10th Viagra.
Dude, if you got to take 10 Viagras, just cut your shit off.
Yeah, I mean, you think at that rich, there's got to be like maybe a pump or something. They got to figure out something for these old men that just want to just keep whacking at young pussy when they're 90 years old, you know?
Have you taken one of those blue diamonds before?
Dude, I used to just eat gas station dick pills before, like when I knew like that situation was going to happen, a rhino. I just pop a rhino, get a little coffee in me, just have a good energy and a nice hard dick, Steve. I don't know what was in those rhinos. And I did get cancer, so maybe it's not good, but
no, I've had rhinos and they do work. But you've never had the actual blue diamond, the Viagra's?
I might have somebody might have given me one like somewhere, but I don't remember specifically being like, yep, there's a Viagra. But I love me. That was, I mean, you got to impress, Steve. It's like a job interview. And
it's a fun experience, man. Like you could really be on some Wesley Pipe shit because I took one for the first time in my 20s. And like, I didn't need it. But like it was available. My homeboy had a plug on it. I was like, well, shit, yeah, man, you are fucking closing doors with that motherfucker for like at least the first 2 days. Like, damn, I don't need you to be up still. But it's fun to have, like.
But then that sets a bad expectation too, because then it's like when you stop, it's like, yeah, I can't go 15 times.
That was a fluke.
I didn't need them either, but at the same time, it was like I said, when you gotta when you really want to make an impression, Steve, you gotta have the right tools.
As a reminder, she got to be reminded from time to time. It's good to, hey, enjoy that ride.
And I remember I worked at this job that it was just like this job at a warehouse, and we like mailed shit that people bought off websites internationally. That's what it was. So sometimes shit would come back that wouldn't make it through customs or whatever. And I remember one time we got a package back, and when that happened, we were allowed to just go through it if we wanted and take what they weren't going to sell. And one time it was a box full of like it was all rhinos. Like it was all literally a box of these rhino, like, and not when I say a box, I'm talking like whatever comes to a 7-Eleven that they have all of the packages in. It was like 6 of those. So me and like all the other guys in the warehouse that worked there, we all got a box. And I remember for like, and I mean, Kendra was on the receiving end of some of this, just straight, just a box full of rhinos. So if I knew that was going to happen, I'd be like, let me get one of these gigantic dick pills for later.
Man, hey, dog, and when you got the stamina, when when you know you in the zone, you could talk that shit like Wesley Pipes. Yeah, it ain't nothing but pussy. Yeah. It's just a pussy. Yeah. You feel.
But you have to time it right, because see that those things are not like it's not. It makes it happen. You don't have to get in the mood or like the ones that I took, you took it and it was just like, it's going to happen. I don't need to get turned on. So if I'm at church and I just accidentally took one of these things, I'm going to get arrested basically. And one time I went out on like a dinner date and it was already understood that we were going to hook up. Like like one of those Tinder things where it's just like, yeah, this is just a preliminary thing just to make sure that everything's good to go. So I just popped it before dinner, but we just started like drinking and hanging out in the bar. And at a certain point, I was just like going to the bar, just cranked, just fully like, we gotta go. We have to go now because I just bumped into somebody and I hope it wasn't a dude because he just got the full like straight up donkey dick, right? Just for no reason. Like we were in like, I forget what it was. It wasn't like, it was just like a diner, like basically a Denny's. And it's like, I can't, we have to leave now. This is insane.
You walking out all hunched over and shit.
Yeah,
like Mr. Burns.
Yeah, the food was great. Oh God. Oh, shout out to fucking rhinos. Hopefully those haven't been taken off the market.
No, man. If rhino gets taken down, it'll be replaced by another thing. Hippo. But that following year, 1993, Beavis and Butthead is airing the episode No Laughing. When Principal McVicker gets fed up with Beavis and Butthead's constant stupidity and uncontrollable laughter on every word that looks dirty to them, for the final time, he puts them on a no laughing prohibition. If caught laughing once more in class, they risk expulsion. Cool.
I mean, it was only a matter of time, Steve. These guys have just completely just hijacked people's classes with this kind of behavior. And it seems like Lawndale High is just nobody's having it anymore. All the teachers are hating them. The episode starts here's what I hate, Steve, because Beavis and Butthead, they seem to be semi mentally handicapped type of people, and the behavior they show is basically what I did in school, so I feel kind of bad.
I was there. We were both doing it.
Yeah. This was me in Spanish class, just laughing at things, not knowing things. We're in Spanish class and the guy's like, "Como es Juan, Beavis?" And it's like, "Guacamole, spaghetti." And even the fucking teacher's like, "That's Italian." He calls him a moron, which I think I was called that by teachers. So,
which isn't right.
Just hurting a little bit. It's hurting a little bit.
The only Spanish you know is what you learned from Taco Bell. Well, shit, that's all I learned because I took French.
Taco Supreme. Oh, Steve, you were thinking ahead.
Yeah, it was some honeys in there.
Did you ever use that as an adult? Like just some extra, like just a little, je ne sais quoi type situation where you just sound smooth as fuck?
From time to time, I do know that my name in France is Etienne, and that was my French name in every year I took France, man.
Damn, Etienne?
Yeah. Etienne. Je m'appelle Etienne.
Etienne. Wow, Steve. Well, there you go.
And don't forget the Asantagu.
Take you a rhino and go start saying that out in the club. You're good.
Yeah, and, definitely can't wing it like Beavis and Butthead tried to, though. Rico Suave.
Yeah. Taco Supreme.
So they get sent to the principal's office, but we end up back at the crib and they're watching the music video by Ween. push a little daisy, make come on, push a little daisy. And it's a weird song. Ween is weird. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but like that's their niche. They make weird ass songs, and the videos add to the weirdness. Butthead and Beavis aren't feeling it. They say, Bud this guy sounds like you, Beavis. This guy sucks.
One of them says these guys got no future.
These guys have no future. I mean, hey, is he wrong? I haven't heard about Ween in years.
Ween was always like, I don't even know why I know about them, but I think I always associate that. You remember like a band called NoFX?
Oh yeah.
And they always had like wild fucking out. There was like an album cover where a guy was jacking a sheep off or something. It's called like Heavy Petting Zoo or some shit. But they were always like those like like weird like shock bands almost.
That's an interesting choice.
I'm telling you, look it up. I'm gonna put it on. We'll probably get pulled off YouTube if I show that shit, but I know it exists.
And that's another thing, dude. Like, I hope no one from Ween dies, because we talked about Depeche Mode in the last episode, and the lead singer died that same week.
Come on, man. What'd you do? He heard us talk shit, I think, Steve.
Yeah, and man.
He got shot.
But they
you're responsible for that man's death, Steve.
Well, like I said, man, please, no one from Ween die. Like, stay with us. Make it through at least a week or so. But the next video is Carmen Electra. Everybody get on up. And they're at least interested in the video because it's Carmen Electra. I didn't even know she had a music career. But Beavis is just, you forgot?
I forgot because I know she did something like kind of music because she got like music because she was hot. So I do remember that, but I don't remember. I didn't know she had videos. You know, I thought it was like maybe some shit like Kim Kardashian probably has an album someplace she recorded because she's rich, you know?
Yeah, like let's not waste our money. Like, who told you had talent, Carmen Electra?
I mean, I just thought she fucked Dave Navarro. Maybe Dave Navarro is that talented. Yeah. Oh, okay. So there's two talented guys. That's what she does, Steve. She just sucks the talent out of guys.
Yeah, she blew some old wrinkly record exec, and he was like, "Yeah, you're so fucking talented. Yeah, you can sing."
Do you think this album's good? What? No, whatever, babe. Yeah, it's great. Can you put my nipple ring back in, please?
Oh, yeah, just make me come, bitch. Beavis Buzz is like, whoa. She said,
Is this a commercial? Yeah, it's a commercial for MTV's House of Butts.
Excuse me, Beavis. I gotta go spank my monkey.
Carmen Electra though. I spanked it to her quite a bit when I was a kid.
Yeah, she hot still. Have you seen her lately? I don't know what she looks like. She probably is.
I mean, yeah, Steve. She is. I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt because she was like sort of. She's not all white. I think there's like a mix in there someplace. So she's got some like she had some work done too. I think maybe allegedly, but she was up there. She was like after Pam Anderson and fucking Jenny McCarthy for me. She was right there. So shout out Carmen Electra. I didn't know you had an album. Everybody get him up, and we got him up, Steve.
Yeah, I didn't even know, man. And back into the class, somehow, some way, as Butthead like plays with his pencil, it flies up and stabs Beavis in the eye, and he just pulls the pencil out of his eye like it's nothing.
Eats it, and then it seems to enjoy it. If somebody put a fucking pencil in my eye, I'm gonna put it back in their eye, Steve. I'm not gonna be just celebrating it.
Yeah, it's totally not cool. And then like they're doing roll call in the class, and I guess one of the students' names is Butt Kiss, and as expected, Beavis and Butt-head just erupt, and they probably did that.
Come on, Daniel Butt Kiss.
You're asking for it.
He's cursing, Coach. And also in science, this is where I remember like when we had health class. I remember a 6th grade health class. That for some reason that's when they started. It was in 6th grade in Perrysburg, and I remember. I mean, they separated the boys from the girls, and I just remember it was a week of just like just and the sperm, and that's what happens here, Steve. They hear the word sperm and it just they can't help it. And I get it. I don't even hate on this. I understand, but the teacher to the principal's, I mean, they're going to the principal's office more than they're going to class.
Everybody's fed up with their laughing, man.
But Lawndale's failing these guys. If we really want to look at this as adults, Steve, Beavis and Butthead are being thrown to the wayside, and I don't like it. Somebody help these kids.
Man,
woke man's here, Steve. Beavis and Butthead are the result of a failed system of education in America that lets children that are problematic fall to the wayside. And woke Matt just hates to see this kind of misrepresentation.
Okay, Tipper Gore. I think Mike Judge was just trying to, make people laugh, man. And I gotta say, man, the one teacher had some nice animated tits. Had me feeling a certain way.
I'm right after that Carmen Electra. I mean, they're just it's titty centric, Steve.
Them motherfuckers was nice. They was sitting right.
Man, them animated titties was nice, dog.
Man, the way they drew that motherfucker, thank you, Mike Judge. It was sitting right.
Well, and after they get thrown out for hearing sperm to McVicker's office, we cut to another video for a band called Butthole Surfers, who was in the song's called Who Was in My Room Last Night. And Steve, I didn't look because I just thought it would be funny to say this and be honest. I remember liking a Butthole Surfers song. I think it was on the soundtrack to Escape from LA, a Kurt Russell movie that was a sequel to Escape from New York. Yeah. But I don't remember the song. But just salute to some guys that got famous in a band called the Butthole Surfers. I love that.
Yeah. Butthole Surfers. Cool.
And the animation in the video, did Rob Zombie fucking draw the shit? Because it looks like his kind of style that he always had.
Either that or Ralph Bakshi. The animation was pretty cool. Very entertaining. Like Butthole Surfers, I don't know if you're familiar with their videos, man, but like they have pretty interesting videos. A lot going on.
Yeah. Well, in this video, not only is there cool animation, at one point there's like a chick in a car with a dude, and she straight like squirts in her panties, takes them off, and just shoves them all over the guy's head. Now, hygienically, I don't know what was going on there, but it was great in a video. I like that.
And somehow Flea, who's not even in the band, Flea was there. Never hurts to add Flea. He's available. Hey, it's Flea.
Oh, and also shout out Flea, because Flea's in the new Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus show. They put him in that. So shout out to Flea once again, killing it. But back in the day, he was they were like, you know what? We got to shoot a video. Get Flea over here. He'll work for a pastrami sandwich, apparently. So just get him over here. He's just going to stand in the background.
Sprinkle some flea dust on it.
I mean, why not? But so we cut from that and we go right into Principal McVicker's office. And Principal McVicker, he's not happy, Steve. And I mean, he's seen these kids like 3 times already today. So he says, you guys are fucking suspended. Which, they're like, what does that mean? And he's like, you can't come here for a week. And they're just like, awesome. Which that's what I always thought when I heard about suspensions. Like the kids getting them, it's just a fucking vacation. You can't do anything else. Yeah. So I was never suspended. But anyway,
me either.
The principal says, he realizes this ain't the right thing to do. So he's like, you know what? And then he just pulls out a bottle of booze and just takes like a heavy rip off of it. And he just says,
40 ounce.
Yeah, it's like, he's like, you guys are going to get something way better than that. And then that's cut. So I don't like little sinister tone to the end of that scene, Steve.
And here's one of these things that you can't do right now. At one point, he was like, Mr. Sherman, your history teacher says he's completely given up on you trying to teach your class about the gay 90s.
Hell yeah. You definitely couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But we don't know what he's going to do to these guys. He's just getting tuned up. That's all we know. So McVicker's half in the wind right now. And we cut to a video for a band that we know and love, Beastie Boys. What you want? So The simplicity but greatness of a Beastie Boy video in the 90s was great. You know, I don't know who shot. Was it a Spike Jones joint maybe? Because I know he was shooting a lot of their shit, but
I know he did the it's the one where they're like all dressed up in the suit, not the suit, but the button up in the tie.
Yeah,
it's a sabotage.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'm not sure about this one, what you want, but I do appreciate the more simpler Beastie Boys videos. There was one that they did later in the 90s, 3 MCs and 1 DJ. That's like one of my favorite Beastie videos. They're just in one room. It starts off with they follow Mixmaster Mike. He goes in and he's wearing like a Ghostbusters backpack. They follow him going to the studio, and they're just standing there. They're posing. And then he turns on the turntable, starts to scratch it, and then they just start going into action. And it's just one single shot. Yeah, man. I think that was off of Intergalactic, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That was a tight. I mean, that whole album was tight. What was that album called that was on? Like the 5 Boroughs, I think is what
Hello Nasty.
Was that Hello Nasty?
Yeah, the 5 Boroughs is much later, like around MCA's death.
That shit was tight. I got so high to that so many times playing like Tiger Woods and shit with Jordan. That shit's in my head. I still listen to that.
These guys are cool. They can jump really slow.
Yeah.
Is this from the Weather Channel?
And so then we cut. Beavis and Butthead are in a bathroom doing some real deep thinking where you should be doing it in the bathroom, taking a shit. And they're just, talking about maybe getting expelled. They were kind of worried about it. It seems like maybe, I don't know. They're shitting and they're laughing and they're talking about being expelled. And then we cut to a video where Steve, I didn't even catch who the band was. I didn't catch what the song was called, but it looks stupid.
Amy Grant.
Well, Amy
Baby,
Grant,
baby.
What the fuck kind of shit was that? And they even say that. They call cheerleaders fat. They say this is stupid, and then they change the channel, which is what I would do.
Is this a Clearasil commercial? Because this is stupid.
That's what.
Yeah, and it sucks too. But Tony Basil, I do fuck with this song. It's not like it's on my playlist, but the Mickey, hey Mickey, it serves a purpose. It was in the 80s.
Yeah.
And the fun fact about Tony Basil, she was an original member of a dance troupe back in Los Angeles called the Breakers. I don't know if you familiar with Rerun from the show What's Happening. Fred Berry, he was a part of that group, and like this was like in the 70s, man. They were a dance troupe that was like They were pioneers in breakdancing, specifically in breakdancing. And Tony Basil was the token white chick because it was all brothers, and it'd be just like this little white chick, but she was pop locking and doing it. You can see there's clips on YouTube of them on Soul doing their whole routine.
Really?
Tony Basil, man.
Shit. Tony Basil?
I think that's how you pronounce her name. Yeah.
I mean, tight name. Good name selection, but
is this Dire Straits again?
Yeah. Is that who sings this song? Rock You Like a Hurricane?
No, that's Scorpions. I fuck with this. This is a nice workout track to add.
Dude, the video is like weird as this is like out of control. This is some heavy metal shit.
He's like they thought it was a hypergenic or hyperbolic chamber. He's like, is this what Michael Jackson slept in? and Beavis was like, no. He said, what did he say to Oprah? Whatever. In fact, he said he saw Michael Jackson on Oprah. It's like, Beavis, you watch Oprah, you fucking wuss.
No. Yeah. Fucking wuss. So then basically we cut to Beavis and Butthead, and basically we find out that this is what's happening. They're being left to go back to class, no punishment. But if you laugh at anything in any class, you're expelled. So the next class they have, unfortunately, is this who I don't know who this aggro guy is.
Mr. Buzzcut, who's one of my favorite side characters from Beavis and Butthead. Anytime he's on, like, oh, there's going to be some gold.
Yeah, so he's telling them that, basically telling them they're doomed because in his class this week, it's time to talk about sex ed. So we're gonna be talking about penis, scrotum, and this is I'd be dying laughing, and they can't. So as soon as he says penis, they're like, and then they're red faced, and they just get a barrage like penis, scrotum, masturbation, all the buzzwords,
vagina,
all the hits.
We're gonna be talking about the clitoris.
And this guy's he's very intense, and I'd be dying laughing if this happened in class, Steve. This would have killed me.
He's running them through the gauntlet, and then like of course he does the roll call, and apparently the Bud Kiss kid is in this class again, and then there's a Gaylord. How, like, man, change your name, bro. You gonna get all kinds
Gaylord. That's a real name, though, Steve. I didn't realize that, but that is a real name. And God bless anybody that gets named that, because your parents hate
cancel. Yeah, that's offensive.
He said vagina. That's cool.
They had to run out. They just could not keep it to themselves. Like, they're fucking sweating. They're red in the face. They had to dart out of there. And just
they were about to pop, dude. They were about to fucking pop.
He said clitoris.
So, I mean, they literally just avoided expulsion right then and there. And then we cut to, is this Reba McEntire, Steve?
This is Reba McEntire with Take It Back. And it has your boy featured in the video, a good old ginger beard, Chuck Norris. Whoop-ha!
Really? I didn't clock that he was in this. I wasn't paying attention. I was writing a note possibly, but
they do say all gingers look alike. I'm pretty sure it was Chuck. You know,
this motherfucker just saw some white guy with a beard. That was Chuck Norris.
Yeah. Dude, I'm pretty sure it was Chuck Norris. I gotta look again.
But the video is insane. It's like some kind of sex court shit. Like, I don't. She's just in like a fucking like. Of course, a denim dress, I think, or a denim like something.
That's the country music uniform at the time, I guess. But they put it perfectly. They said it was a cop rock rerun, and I don't know if you're familiar with that. It was a very failed show that lasted a season, where Stephen Bochco actually produced this. He's done a lot of hits.
Rock?
It was called it was a cock rock. It was called Cop Rock, and it was focused on maybe LAPD or NYPD, and they would have these scenes, and then all of a sudden it would become Glee. These motherfuckers in uniform was bust out in the song, like you're catching an arraignment. And like, what the fuck? Who? What? Like, what were y'all smoking to think like this? Like, people were gonna watch this shit? I'm surprised it lasted the whole season.
A musical cop show. I love that.
Yeah. They're in court, and the bailiff was like, he just fucking takes his shirt off and is like, yeah, may you now have your seats, please.
Officer down.
Stephen Bochco, I know you've had like some good hits in your resume, man, but like you was on some weak shit on this one, man. You should have changed your plug.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that. I thought they were just saying cock rock, like just like 90s rock, like hair metal. I always assume, like, I think that's what cock rock is, right?
It depends. Because like some people looked at Limp Bizkit as cock rock, but it's like, you know, your mama is cock rock. Don't fucking play Fred Durst. I will not have it.
He'll tell you right. He'll let you know right to your face that you fucking disappointed him. So don't.
I'm still that dude.
Just I'm haunted to this day, Steve. Fred, don't cross Fred Durst.
Like a chump, like a chump,
He was feeling bad that day.
Reba can get clapped though. In this video, Reba can get that motherfucking work. I ain't even gonna lie to you, Matthew.
I mean, she was in sex court, Steve. At this time, you probably could have, because I think she was being arraigned for some kind of prostitution charge or some shit. I don't know, but I don't remember thinking Reba McEntire was especially hot, but I agree.
Either. But watching this shit, I was like, yeah,
she can bounce up and down on that.
For real. I ain't gotta like your music, bitch. But the next video, Duran Duran, Come Undone. And he's like, wow, that fish has a face on his butt. I wish I had a face on my butt so I can blow my nose with my butt.
One of the guys has like Jerry Seinfeld's pirate shirt on. Like I think it's one of the guitarists. There's some questionable shit being shown in this video, Steve.
It's weird.
There was a guy just like in the background, just like dancing erotically with a bra on. I didn't get that. I didn't understand why that fit into this. But who was this?
Duran Duran. I was never a Duran
Okay.
Duran person.
Well, Duran, they were really into some let's say very European looking shit, some Jim and type shit.
Yeah, I'll blame it on that. They're from across the pond. We should start a group called Butthead.
Yeah, and so then we cut from that insane shit to Beavis and Butt-head just like they're having a court case, Steve, and the defendant's some kind of bug. I think it's a caterpillar.
Cricket.
Yeah, okay, there you go. And fortunately, a cricket guilty of something. Beavis just pulls a fucking chainsaw. I don't even know where it was. It was just off camera, I guess. Saws the bug in half and catches Beavis's. I mean, Beavis loses a digit, Steve.
No, it was Butthead. Beavis was the one that put up.
Butthead loses a digit. Yeah. And again, are they too dumb? Are they too stupid to feel pain? Because he's into it, Steve.
Yeah, they are. Just like the kids who try to like mimic their shit. That's why they had the disclaimer at the beginning, which I completely forgot.
I did too.
They had to start adding a disclaimer
at the beginning, but I was like, oh fuck, they did have this shit.
Yeah, because kids are morons.
Yeah, guys. Hey, kids, don't pull a chainsaw out and just don't.
You're not Terry Funk.
I'm gonna have a chainsaw in the ass match.
I'm crazy. Terry. I'm from Amarillo.
I'm gonna have I can't remember where I live match. Oh, Terry Funk. Not even rest in peace, but rest in peace to Terry Funk's brain because
it's fried.
But then we cut to a video for this band's called Corrosion of Conformity, right, Steve?
Yeah, I feel like Louis would listen to this band.
I think he did, and I would never listen to a band called this, but just like from the outside looking in, that's great. It's a good name. I'm not going to be at the concert, and there's probably a lot of like pasty titties at that concert, but it serves its purpose. And whoever thought of that name, they're creative. Yeah, they won.
A lot of slashed wrists in those arenas. Well, I ain't even gonna say arenas. I don't think they could fill out fucking Madison Square Garden.
Maybe like a big bar though. Dude, Corrosion's gonna be at fucking
Pine Knob. Yeah.
It's pretty fucking. It's death metal. They call it that. It's drums, it's guitar, it's death, Steve. And
the song is called "Dance of the Dead,"
and for good reason, because I think that's what they're doing. They're trying to bring some sort of satanic demon to Earth with their rock. And
it was pleasing to Beavis and Butt-head, because they were like, "Now this is what death rock is about."
These guys rule.
I guess so, man. I'll let you be the judge because I wouldn't listen to that shit.
I just can't imagine. It's like, sometimes you'll pass a car and it's got like that Mexican accordion, like music that's coming out. It's everywhere. I've heard it everywhere. I've heard it here. I've heard it in LA. But it's like, I can't imagine just cruising around listening to it. It's not.
I can't get jiggy with this shit.
Exactly. Yeah. Hell yeah.
You're not going to see any black person getting down like that, man. Man, play some Bobby Brown. What the fuck is this shit?
Man, some of that. He's listening, not this fucking accordion shit. But I always think it's going to be an old person in the car, and it's like it's some fucking like 20-year-old listening to this shit. I don't know.
Just getting lit off that shit. Drinking some Modelo's, some open container.
We can't hear it, Steve. We can't hear the magic.
Man, and I'm cool with it. I'm okay with that.
Next, a special Thursday Men Behaving Badly and the Holiday Miracle.
I don't think you need that thing. No, you're free, Wally.
Okay, NBC next.
In 1995, the bridges of Madison County premiered in theaters. Photographer Robert Kincaid wanders into the life of housewife Francesca Johnson for 4 days in the 1960s, starring Clint Eastwood and Meryl Streep. Never seen it, never want to. I don't fuck with Clint Eastwood. I fucks with Meryl Streep, but it's ironic that they starred in this together because politically they're on opposite ends of the spectrum.
This was definitely a Sonia Geddick select. I definitely know that this was played at some point in my house. I left the room because it just here. Let me try to sell you, Steve. Hey, I got a movie. It's called The Bridges of Madison County. Leave my office immediately. I don't even want to hear what it's about.
Yeah.
Are there explosives on the bridge? Is there a gun? No, just two old people falling in love. Great. I gotta go. Thanks.
Is Meryl Streep going to show a titty? No.
Yeah, you got to go back. You don't want to see a Bridges of Madison County titty, Steve. You want to go back in that, like, pull that titty out.
Yeah. After we sign up for the NRA, I want you to come back home.
I'm gonna fuck you to death. I'm gonna fuck you to death. Oh my God, Clint.
Right after you sign up for the NRA. I'm a card-carrying member.
My nickname in college was Clint Eastwood because that's what I eat.
He's got a really is that his real name?
Clint. I mean, maybe government. Clint is an old sounding name, but you know, that's a Hollywood name. Just sounds good. When it sounds that good, I have a hard time believing it's his name.
Because that man, you know, I do not fuck with dude in any capacity, but that is a gangster ass name. I'll give him that. And his real Clinton Eastwood Jr.
Okay, well, sorry, it is his name, but still, I'm like you. There's some shit. He was in a movie called Unforgiven that I fucks with. It was like a Western, but it had like Morgan Freeman, I think, in it too. It's like sort of made like later in the 90s. It was pretty dope. But you know, he's like a bygone era, and definitely now it's just like I tried to watch it. He made that movie about that sniper dude that Bradley Cooper was in.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched that shit and I was like, all right, I'm good. I didn't know he's making propaganda films and shit.
Well, of course, it's Clint Eastwood. That's his thing now. That's his aim.
But he literally made the film that the Nazis made in fucking Inglourious Bastards, like the American version of that shit.
For real, like that was his Birth of a Nation. Now I ain't talking about the modern one. I'm talking about the original one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like you cut out, bro. I don't know if it's your mic or what.
I hit the fucking mute button, Steve. Why would they put a mute button right there? How dare they?
Yeah, we got the same mics, and I've noticed, like, yeah, that shit's sensitive.
It's but shout out to Shure. Not yet a podcast sponsor, but they make a hell of a mic. Shure mics for the podcaster.
For sure. But on that same day, a movie called Fluke came out. After a man dies in a car crash, he is reincarnated as a dog and attempts to reconnect with his family, starring Matthew Modine, Nancy Travis, Eric Stoltz, and Ron Perlman. Ron Perlman,
again, we talked about scumbag characters. Ron Perlman's right up there, Steve. And I gotta say, a young Ron Perlman, my wife keeps referring to him as a white gorilla. And even as a young man, like, I can't help but say that's pretty fucking accurate, you know?
Yeah, with all due respect, we're going to call a spade a spade. What are the ones, like those albino ones with the red faces?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's that in this movie. You can't help what you look like. I guess if you were a Hollywood star, you could afford to do some shit. But he rode through it, and that's his look. It's probably got him work. Wasn't he a Beauty and the Beast? It's like, man, you look kind of like you are like on some monster shit. Here's this role. You don't even got to audition.
We were gonna we're thinking about just not putting any makeup on you because of how insane you look. But this, we're gonna make you look like Beast in this. But he there's a cranial thing going on. That's why he looked great as Hellboy. He almost has like
exactly.
what do they call cavemen, Steve? Homo,
Neanderthals.
He has a very Neanderthal look to him, where successful actor, probably tons of hot women, tons of success, seems like a great guy. Even
He probably is.
I had one step of separation because he was friends with Stephen Bauer, and I knew Stephen Bauer, and they actually hung out a lot, but I never got to meet Ron Perlman, which would have been a dream come true because I love me some Ron Perlman. But just he's one of those guys, and Ron, if you're listening, I love you, and I hope to meet you one day and tell you how much I love all your work. But just you're an actor like a Clint Howard, who is so bizarre looking that you will get hired if you can read lines, and he can read lines exceptionally well. So
yeah, you also have this rugged look. It's like the Sons of Anarchy. I never watched this shit. I don't care for biker shit, but he has that rugged. Hey, throw a leather vest on. You look like you could kick some ass and ride a bike.
Yeah, you got gigantic. And then in that show, he had gigantic. Like they focused on his hands. And I gotta say, Steve, we're calling him a white gorilla. Very gorilla-like hands too. They're gigantic. They're like fucking anvils. So Ron Perlman's in this. We're talking about Fluke the movie, everybody. Sidetracking back to what we're actually talking about.
I'd rather sidetrack than fucking this movie.
But
I hate
Steve,
it.
You're telling me that the movie Fluke, about a dog who is actually a reincarnated soul of a man who died in a car accident, is actually a fluke of a movie that should never have been made. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I just heard about it yesterday AM. Like the fact that like the people involved in it, that pisses me off. This movie pisses me off for a lot of fucking reasons. First of all, it's a dumb fucking concept. Matthew Modine, you did Full Metal Jacket and you went to this. It should be up, not going down. Samuel L. Jackson, you just did Die Hard with a Vengeance, considered probably the best of the franchise. And you did Pulp Fiction like a year prior. Yeah, I know you got to do an offer in the 90s. You have like 11 things in this decade, but damn, bro, sometimes every check ain't like you don't need that, bro. You Samuel Jackson, you gonna get more work. You about to be Mace Windu in a couple years, man. Them Star Wars checks is fucking man, like you did this shit, bro. You're still my goat. You're still my goat. You're still Ordo Ruby. You're still Jules Vincent. You're my dog, man. You've done all the fucking top shit that I love, but why, bro? Fucking why? You didn't need to do this shit, bro.
Can I got two words for you, Steve. Cha-ching. That's why. Because everybody in this movie, that's what I was thinking watching this whole movie. This movie, one, to sell this again, to make this, just to get it made, somebody had to sell somebody on this story of a man who dies in a car. I'm going to repeat what I said. A man died. This movie opens. This is a children's movie, guys. We're on a wet highway. Matthew Modine's driving erratically. Eric Stoltz is driving erratically. They're playing chicken with each other. They're both riding alongside each other on a 2-lane road. Matthew Modine goes off narrowly avoids getting hit by a semi, goes off the road, goes into a car or just goes off into some trees, dies.
As he fucking should.
Yeah. And we find out later that maybe he was an asshole this whole movie, but we'll get to that. But again, this man dies, is reincarnated as a puppy, and goes through life with memories of being an adult and wants to reconnect with his family. That's where we're at, Steve. We made this movie in the 90s, and I get it. Kids need movies. But what I just said I don't want to take my kid to a movie and be like, well, when somebody dies, they go to heaven. And it's like, I only want to get a genie and talk to Aladdin or some shit. I don't want to tell my kid about death watching this crazy ass fucking movie. This movie is insane.
It teaches the wrong lesson to a kid too. If you decided to take your kid to see this fucking fluke of shit, it teaches you that like, oh, it's okay to be irresponsible on the road where other big fucking vehicles are moving. You fuck defensive driving, play a game of chicken with your buddy, live life a little, and then you'll be rewarded by being reincarnated to a fucking dog. Matthew Modine's character didn't deserve to be reincarnated to a dog. What is another life form that's probably not comfortable? Motherfucker, you should have been a fucking leaf. No. Plants don't deserve that. You were irresponsible as on the road. You should be reincarnated into a fucking moth.
Okay. I agree. I mean, the guy's a scumbag in this movie. But basically, this is what happens. Matthew Modine dies. We're treated to like this. they make heaven look like the transition is just a fallopian tube or some shit. We just see this weird 3D screensaver that looks like human body insides. And then Matthew Modine wakes up in the body of a puppy in the streets, So this puppy becomes a dog. We watch this puppy grow up, and it's having memories of the Matthew Modine's wife and a kid. There's all these weird snapshots, right?
So fucking weak, bro. So
and
fucking
Steve
weak.
hates every fucking second of it. But then Steve, so we get to a point in this movie where Fluke is this dog. The dog doesn't name Fluke immediately, but we're
with these Ed Asner eyebrows.
Yeah, that's crazy. Look at that. Look how cute he is, Steve. That's what this is really about. It's just about a cute puppy who grows up.
The dogs are cute. I'll give it that. They're fucking cute. Can't deny it. But they're pussy ass dogs at the same time.
But again, so now we're in a kids movie, right? Fluke is found by this homeless bag lady. He's in the streets. He is still having these memories. He's figuring it out. This bag lady gets sick and dies. We see this in this fucking movie. This is another a human death in this movie for no reason. So he's abandoned. And then he's adopted by Rumbo, who is Samuel L. Jackson, who's getting that check. Rumbo's a dog. He's a street dog.
Of course he's a street dog. This is the dog from a beaten path.
Exactly. And he's got to teach him the rules of the road. Whose butts to sniff, where to go. He's got a buddy that owns a barbecue joint. So they go there. They get a couple of pieces of barbecue on the free because he's got this deal with this dude. I think his name's Cliff or Charles or some shit.
Yeah, the barbecue guy played by Bill Cobb, the guy who shot Nino Brown in New Jack City. And he's actually from Cleveland, Ohio. Still alive, still with us. Represent, man.
And he's got a relationship with Rumbo. Rumbo's teaching this dog who will eventually be named Fluke what's up. And during this, it's a plot point that's important. We see a picture of this dude at the barbecue shop and just clock that. It's a black dude. He's handsome. He's in the Navy. It's old. Clearly the guy's dead. So we cut. Rumbo's owned by the, he's a great 90s scumbag. He owns a junkyard. It's that fat
John Polito.
Yeah. He's in Big Lebowski. He's in all kinds of shit. He's in a movie called Bushwhacked, I think I mentioned, with Daniel Stern. It's a kid's movie. He's one of the
always has a mustache like the one I got right now.
And he talks like this. He's just always like this. He was in Always Sunny, I think, at one point.
He would have been good for Dr. Robotnik. I mean, he's no match for Jim Carrey, but he's got the build.
Oh yeah, I mean, he probably looked more realistic to what the source material. But he's fine. Yeah. He's fine in this. He's a junkyard guy. He's rough. But he sort of adopts Fluke and he names him Fluke. He's like, you can stay here. And Fluke stays. And eventually, this is where Ron Perlman comes in. This is where the movie gets real kind of crazy for a while. So
it starts now? This is where the craziness.
And this is where shit really gets crazy, Steve. They go, I think, to the barbecue joint again, but Ron Perlman's there, and Ron Perlman's just sort of a cunt. He's I think like a thug of some kind. I don't know what he is, honestly. He's just a guy with a weird look that maybe he looks like a gangster that was in Back to the Future 2. He looks like a futuristic gangster.
It got stuck in time. I'm between 1955 and 87.
He even has those crazy desperado cowboy boots with the steel toe and shit. It's just it looks like his name's Snake or some shit. But he sees the dog and just is a cunt. He steps on the dog's tail, I think, on purpose. And then
because it should. It should. Are you having a laugh? And no cruelty to animals, but this was the person who got reincarnated. He shouldn't be a dog. I love dogs, but because it's this person, this is the dog that should be in the kennel and shit. Don't come for me, PETA. Suck my dick. Just like how this movie could suck my dick.
But yeah, I mean, and so what happens is Fluke attacks Ron Perlman. Ron Perlman takes this personally. He was attacked by a dog. I'd probably be the same way, not knowing there's a human soul in it. But
who would think that?
Yeah, so he goes away. Somehow Ron Perlman finds out where Fluke is actually from, even though he's a street dog. He goes to the junkyard, tells the junkyard owner, John Polito, that, hey, if you your dog bit me, I'm going to, threatens him. And so he's like, I'm going to fucking fuck you up because your dog bit me. But then, but then eventually he goes away, comes back with he gets Fluke and puts him in a lab where they test animals. Like, this all happens just because he wants it. Maybe he works at the lab. I don't know. But he gets fucking Fluke in this lab because Fluke bit him. He has a grudge against the fucking dog like this, and makes them test him like Clockwork Orange style. It's insane. So we go through all this. Fluke has these flashbacks from time to time. And you can tell eventually that he was the guy who died at the beginning. That, we're adults, but you find out he was the guy who died. His soul went into the body of a dog. And he wants to connect with his family because he thinks Eric Stoltz, who was his business partner as a human being, is some way endangering his family. I don't know.
And he's thinking this as a dog.
Yeah, exactly. And he escapes a lab with the help of Samuel L. Jackson's dog. Samuel L. Jackson's dog is shot and killed by Ron Perlman after stealing a gun from a security guard. He fucking just straight, he clocks his ticket. But eventually Fluke makes it to his family, befriends his family, earns their trust, lives with them, is kicked out by Eric Stoltz, and then through a series of flashbacks, we find out that he was Eric Stoltz's business partner. He was just a workaholic douchebag who ignored his family, and Eric Stoltz was telling him what a shitty person he was. He took that personally, takes that...
Like Jordan.
What's that?
Like Jordan.
Yeah, exactly.
So I took that personally.
Yeah. He destroys the guy's prototype, gets in this weird car fight with him, and kills himself because he's an asshole. And he's given a second chance to reconnect with his family. So this movie follows all this. He actually he sneaks in Eric Stoltz. This is a dog.
All of this is happening with him as a dog. Yes. Please remind the people.
Exactly. He sneaks into Eric Stoltz's car. And while Eric Stoltz is driving, trying to find the child that is looking for Fluke. We've skipped a lot of stuff, Steve, but basically
we should.
Matthew Modine's son is looking for Fluke because Eric Stoltz kicked Fluke out of the house.
This pussy ass kid behind me.
Yeah, exactly. I know that kid from something else, but regardless, he is a pussy. But Fluke befriends him. He gets kicked out. He goes out looking for him with a fever. Eric Stoltz goes out looking for him. Fluke, the dog, this is a dog. He sneaks into Eric Stoltz's car, attacks him mid-driving, and makes him crash his car. He flies out of the car in the accident, nearly kills Eric Stoltz, and in some sort of blackout while he's injured, a dog remembers that he himself was the asshole, and he needlessly fucked this guy's life up because I don't know, because he had a bad memory.
Who would have thought these creatures who chase their own ass on a regular basis and sometimes eat their own shit are so intuitive?
It's insane. So Eric Stoltz almost dies. They make eye contact, but and he's like, "Go find my son. Go find the kid." So Fluke finds the kid. The mom finds the kid. Everything's fine, and then Fluke's like, "I gotta leave. I can't interfere with your lives anymore," and goes off into the sunset. He survives being flying out of a crashed car through a windshield. And I feel like we've done this movie even more of an injustice by not covering everything. But at the same time, Steve, you're right. When I was enthralled because of how high I was when I watched this, but it is one of the most shockingly stupid movies I've ever seen.
we would do an injustice if we went into greater detail. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change the outcome of Fluke or our viewers' perspective of Fluke. They like I consider myself a 90s buff. I love Samuel L. Jackson. I fucks with Eric Stoltz. I fucks with Ron Perlman.
Oh, all of them. Even Modine, dude. Like you said,
Matthew
he was
Modine.
in Full Metal Jacket. He's been in some hitters.
Fucking Joker. Dude, this movie can suck my dick, man. And you know what? I want to tell the people who didn't experience the 90s or specifically 1995, this is not a reflection of the summer of 1995. The summer of 1995 gave us Raekwon, Only Built for Cuban Links, Die Hard with a Vengeance, Braveheart, Tales from a Hood, Casper, Pocahontas, Mortal Kombat, the good one, and Mike Tyson was free. It was a good time to be alive in the summer of 95. This shit, and that's probably why, my friend, we didn't even know this existed. Not a blip on our fucking radar. We were experiencing all the shit that was good.
I was watching Johnny Cage just straight thrash Goro in the theater. He's probably was in the theater while Mortal Kombat was in the theater. You know, we weren't. I was clocking that Southwick Mall movie theater ticket to Mortal Kombat.
Shit, dude. Jordan just came back, dude. Like we had our mind on other shit. We're on our way to 7th grade, my friend.
Why how it got made? Like, I don't know why this was made and like make something else. Like this, people just got paid for no reason off this. And that's what it was.
This is the Cat, the movie.
Oh,
I would have watched that.
They probably considered that. I bet that was in consideration at some point. But one thing I do want to add about this movie that we find out at the end. So Samuel L. Jackson's dog died. And through the whole movie, he wouldn't say that he had human memories, right? So we find out at the end of this, Fluke is just in the wilderness and a squirrel starts throwing nuts at him. We find out that when you die as a dog, your soul just goes into other animals. So Samuel L. Jackson's a squirrel now and they hang out. So the sequel wrote itself, Steve. I mean, what if you're a good person, what do you get to turn into? Because I mean, seriously, Matthew Modine's a scumbag in this.
He's a piece of shit.
The person who died was a complete scumbag. And I get second chances and whatnot, but he didn't deserve it. He almost took a guy's life. He almost took a guy's life.
Yeah. And this is the opening scene. You don't get to be the protagonist after driving like a fucking asshole because you're just fucking YOLO. Oh man.
Hey,
like, dude,
hey. It's like, what was even going on? That's what I never understood. Like, was he gonna like make him pull over and fight him? Like, just take it home, dude. Like, give the guy a call. What are you doing? It seems very.
Why are y'all doing this in the 90s? Like, people don't play. This isn't the 50s. This isn't the greasers and the socias, motherfucker. Like, we're not supposed to care about your plight and be sympathetic towards your character. Fuck you as a person. Fuck you as a dog. Fuck your family. Fuck this pussy ass kid. You're no Elijah Wood. You're no Fred Savage. You're none of the Savage. You're not even Ben. You're no McCulkin. Like, that's what, like, I hate everything. You're nothing. You're like everything about this fucking movie. It fucking pisses me off, man. It's like a Sandra Bullock movie.
I'm surprised she wasn't in it. She could have been the
might
wife.
As well.
I mean,
might as
the
well.
Wife, God damn, did she get an easy paycheck?
The wife had nice titties too.
I mean, she was there's one movie she was in I saw that I clocked that I was like, why do I know this fucking chick?
I'm guessing she's Nancy Travis.
So I Married an Axe Murderer is the movie I remember her from. She was Mike Myers. She was the axe murderer.
She was in 3 Men and a Baby. Married to the Mob.
She was in My Wet Dreams, Steve.
Yeah. What a nice rack. That's a positive. That's my one good take of this movie.
Just a fat rack on that. I didn't note it. She was in a lot of like homely white chick regalia.
Yeah, shit. I'll be in her home as this character. Fucking she had a nice thin frame. Them motherfuckers poking out. I don't know if it was the sweater or if it was the bra or it was them nipples.
The nipples. Though, hey, Eric Stoltz, maybe just don't fuck your dead best friend's wife right away. Steve, you could get in there because I mean, Eric Stoltz's fucking creepy ass was getting in there. Guy he's a heroin dealer. That's what we know. That's what he needs to be doing. Okay. So he shouldn't be near kids. And I mean, he definitely shouldn't be fucking this chick that his best friend was wedded up to. So
he should have done a sequel to The Mask than done this.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
So Steve, I'm just gonna say it. I guess you just didn't like this movie.
If this movie was a person, and if I could get away with it, I would shoot it in the face like 17 times.
You'd Alec Baldwin that shit, Steve.
I'm really pissed. Oh no, mine wouldn't be an accident. It would be very Walter White. You know, shit.
Well, somebody got paid, Steve. I like this movie because it paid a lot of people we like, and you know, they got a dog family some money. So hopefully my dog can be in a movie this stupid. Maybe I'll make a movie like this.
No, man, you got to do better than this.
You got it. No, you're right.
Man, like everything about this, the fact that the budget was 15 million, like why the fuck? That's a waste of money.
Can I be honest with you? I feel like if you got Matthew Modine as one of the top 3, like you're just cruising for like mediocrity. Matthew Modine is like low-fat vanilla yogurt.
Ooh, I wasn't expecting that.
He's not great. Like even Full Metal Jacket, I'm not like Matthew Modine was so sick in that. There's a lot of other people way more memorable than Matthew fucking Dean in that.
Well, he was in Married to the Mob too. I don't know if you knew that. Or if you ever seen it. He was in Any Given Sunday. He was the doctor. Hey, Doc, give me some more of that cortisone. He was
a tool in that too.
Give me some more of that cortisone shit.
You're irresponsible, Al.
But yeah, if you look at his M-dub, it's about as bland as fucking what is that Brit dude that we talk about from time, like a Hugh Grant fucking catalog.
Yeah, I mean he's handsome, great. He's like if you want somebody that looks like that guy that played Martin McFly and Crispin Glover, if you want somebody that looks like that but's not weird,
you're gonna
call Matthew Modine. I just been really mistreated. He's like Corey. I feel like we need to get him and Corey Feldman on like a reality show together. Because I mean, that would be comedic gold. Steve, I want to go see Corey Feldman live. I want to see his live music show.
Why?
I mean, there's a podcast called The Bonfire with Big J Okerson and Dan Soder, and they make fun of him and his music career all the time. But somebody they know went to one of his shows and was like, if you go expecting a complete train wreck and to laugh, it's one of the greatest comedy shows of all time. So that's why I would want to go.
I would say 90% of the people who would go to a Corey Feldman concert are coming to troll.
Oh yeah, for sure. Or at least just like, you know, it's like going to a NASCAR race, but you're just there to see if somebody crashes. You're like hoping for it.
The likelihood of you seeing me at a NASCAR event is about the same as you seeing me at a fucking what is it? Who did Freebird? Those motherfucking concerts. Who did Leonard Skinner at a Leonard Skinner concert?
Steve, that's weird. That's a weird thing that just happened because I have the episode set up to edit already, and I put the first commercial in, and the commercial is Leonard Skinner and Friends live on pay-per-view from 19.
Get the fuck out of here.
I swear to God, dude. It's gonna be there and you're gonna see it. And that happened before we did this. So that's kind of weird. But you're right. NASCAR is like, I've gone too heavy. It's like when I used to make fun of Larry the Cable Guy a lot, and I've come to realize that maybe that was by mistake, but I've gone too heavy and too hard against NASCAR. I don't respect it, but I will never go just because I'm too far in of hating it.
You have most of your teeth.
Yeah, exactly. I know I have common sense, and I'm not blacked out on, you know, like a Natty Light selection.
Yeah, and you care about personal hygiene. I don't think you would qualify. I think
I look like a pederast, but I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think they check that at the gate for BO. Like sour cream and onions. Yeah.
You lift your armpit. Like Cool Ranch Doritos. You get a VIP pass, buddy.
Yeah. Is that your cousin, sister? Yeah. You get some extra fucking Doritos for that.
Oh,
woo.
That Man, my sister's so hot.
Don't tell my uncle, though. That same day, 1995, The Glass Shield premiered in theaters. Two cops become compelled to act against corruption and discrimination within their police precinct, starring Richard Anderson, Michael Boatman, Bernie Casey, Bowling Green alum, and Ice Cube, the Don Mega, Yay, Yay, and Lori Petty.
Uh-huh. What was this movie called?
The Glass Shield.
Shield.
This didn't catch me when it came out.
I don't remember that one. I thought I was a Don Mega aficionado, and that I don't remember that one. That's a deep cut.
Yeah, this is Cube in his fro days, and it's the gay guy from Spin City. He's one of the cops.
Oh, okay.
The gay black guy with the bald head. Yeah, Michael Boatman.
Was he gay?
Was he? Yeah, the way he's looking at Cube is like, I want to check myself and wreck myself. We can have a good day today.
I'll check myself, but you need to wreck me, Cube.
Yeah,
you need to wreck this booty.
Have me 1,000 miles and running. Shoot, I don't run though. I like to get chased.
Extradite me into your bedroom, you son of a bitch.
Where is the Players Club? Show me. Yay, yay. I like that thing you do with that. $40. $40. But yeah, man, Glass Shield, that was a thing. Please like, share, subscribe for more tips on how to steal money from hookers and give it to your grandma. In 1996, June 2nd, Ray Combs, the American game show host, born in 1956, he would die. And I remember when this happened. For the longest, he was my favorite of the Family Feuds hosts. Steve Harvey's kind of taken that role. He's been there for past decade or so. But yeah, man, he committed suicide. And this was, like I said, 96. And we were at the tail end of 7th grade. This was probably like my second to last day or the last day. And we were talking about it in history class, man. It was that big of a deal because we didn't know. This is like internet wasn't like widely available, and we go off of what we see on TV. Like he was always in a on the up and up, positive, like cracking jokes and the friendly game show host.
Yeah.
And so it caught me off guard when he was really dealing with a lot of shit, man. He was just like, fuck this shit.
Yeah, I remember it being a scandal, and I thought he had like some other shit, like some scandalous shit, but yeah, it was kind of it was one of those first people where you thought everything was like rosy. This guy has an amazing life, and then he just offed himself. It's wild.
Well, he was in a serious car accident in July of 94. He sustained an injury in one of his spinal discs, leaving him in serious and continuous pain. So that was a big part of it. And like the divorce, that took him over the edge, man. He had financial problems after the failure of 2 of his comedy clubs. And like, he's from Ohio, by the way, man. He's from Hamilton, Ohio, and his comedy clubs were in Ohio, and they went under. So he was dealing with like financial issues. His home in Hamilton went into foreclosure. In September 95, he separated from his wife of 18 years, and they had 6 children. They tried to reconcile, but later refiled for divorce, man.
Damn. Shut up. I do remember watching like his Family Feuds with like my grandma and shit. I liked Al Borland, Steve. I liked me a little, fall asleep.
Don Borland.
Or Al Borland. What's his name?
Al Borland. Oh, okay. Yeah. Richard Karn, I think his name is. Yeah.
I checked out for Louis Anderson. He's just off. That's crazy. I'm Louis Anderson.
But that following year, 1997 in Denver, Timothy McVeigh is convicted on 15 counts of murder and conspiracy for his role in the 1995 bombing of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City, in which 168 people died. He was executed 4 years later for being a punk ass bitch. And we've talked about this Buster and his fucking Greg Ostertag haircut before. But yeah, man, rest in pieces, you punk ass. In 1998, Master P releases MP, The Last Don. And My friend corrected me. It's not the original Make 'em Say but it's a Make 'em Say too. This was his entry into the rap double album. You're not considered one of the goats. If you want to get into the goat talk and want to be one of the greats, you got to have that in your resume, a double album. All the greats do it. So The Last Don, that was his trial. It got some positive reviews, but it's not his best work, in my opinion.
But that cover, though, I remember that cover. I remember that poster, and if nothing else, he succeeded in that. I don't remember any songs off this, but I do. I mean, I'm sure there was something good on this, Steve. There had to have been something just fire on this, other than Make 'em Say too, which we all know.
Yeah, he didn't have many releases from this, but I mean, like you said, like there are some gems, I'm sure. I didn't get to fully listen to everything on there, but like I'm a fan of P, and the fact that it's like 100 minutes long, dude, something in there is gonna bang.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You can't fully see the picture, but he's got the bowler hat, and he kind of looks like my cousin's senior picture. My cousin, he graduated a year before us in 2000. He had a bowler hat, white suit, very clean. Very player. And unlike my senior picture, my cousin's senior picture, it shows like, man, he probably on some player shit, be getting the honeys. My senior picture, probably think like he's probably got a lot of white friends.
Yeah. In my senior picture, it's still up on the wall, Steve, and my mom and dad's fat old me with a trumpet leaning on a wall.
That's vintage Matt.
I mean, dude, I fucking just stroke those trumpet keys, Steve, into some pussy. So
man. Keep on stroking, man. Like
keep on stroking.
Clarence Carter. On that same day in 98, the Smashing Pumpkins released their album Adore. The singles from that were Ava, Adore, and Perfect. And I fucks with Smashing Pumpkins, but I do remember like the true fans didn't really appreciate this, man.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness a few episodes ago, but there was a certain point where I checked out. Like the vibe was too like depressing, and I wasn't part of that. I was listening to rap. So.
And they had internal things, man. I think the bassist, the female bassist, I think she left for a while. And Jimmy Chamberlain, the drummer, he had heroin. Like he was like going back and forth to rehab and shit, man. But still, got love for Smashing Pumpkins. I'm a Melancholy and Infinite Sadness and Siamese Dream person. But that following year, 1999, Star Trek Deep Space Nine had their series finale, and good for them.
Mm-hmm. Shout out. Was Deep Space Nine the one with the black dude?
Yes. The black guy, this with the bald head.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
This shit was on for a while, but this was like, we got like syndicated and new Next Generation with Picard and whatever that dude's name
Whoopi Goldberg and LeVar.
But yeah, I never really even liked that. I watched it because there were some hotties on that. There was a couple of sexual episodes of Star Trek too, I remember from Next Generation as a kid, but I was a Star Wars kid. And this, I mean, they made it a while and they had a finale, Steve, and we salute them. And hey,
good for them,
looks
man.
Cool. This guy looks intense.
I remember him from an older show called Spencer for Hire. I don't know if you remember that.
No.
He was like it was like a buddy cop show. It was him and another guy who's no longer with us, man. But his thing, he would always say Spencer real cool. Spencer. It was like real suave in a like Billy D kind of way with his bald head. You know what I'm saying? It was like Spencer. I got to redo that. Wow. Spencer. I ain't like the way. Spencer. Yeah, but that was him. I know more from that than this. And I don't fuck with science fiction shit, like none of the Star shit.
I mean, I like science fiction, but not this. I just always, for whatever reason, I was like, Star Wars is dope. Star Trek, that's for fucking nerds. Fuck that.
Is Total Recall? That's science fiction, right?
Yeah, hell yeah. That's
well,
Demolition
they had
Man.
3
That's
titties.
Science fiction. You can fuck with Demolition Man.
Yeah, but they. Total Recall had 3
start
titties.
getting into spaceships and shit, then it's like, I can only go so far with that.
Snooze fest. Any honorable mentions, takeaways, or come on the back?
Oh, come on the back to Jackie Brown. Little come on the back to Jackie Brown, the movie from the 90s. Steve, we talked about it, and I've talked about it before on the show ad nauseum, and to anybody who will listen. I checked it out this weekend for no reason other than it's on HBO. I love the movie, and I think it was B3F. Somebody, when I mentioned that it was my favorite, was like, "Why?"
It was them. Yeah.
And I just will defend it to this day, because if you've done any research and you know what Quentin Tarantino came from, I think from that perspective, as a fan of him, that is, I would like to ask Quentin Tarantino that. Is that your favorite movie? Because it seems like the amalgamation of everything he used as source material in his life, like all those movies, all those blaxploitation movies and exploitation movies he always talked about when he was coming up, that gave him that style and that like vibe for his movies. I think it all came together in one package in Jackie Brown, and to me it's his most complete and best movie, and I'll stand on that.
And all the
I would hope Quentin Tarantino would hear that and be like, yeah, that clocks. I would think he would respect that.
That's a proper assessment.
Yeah. I just feel like, I don't know, there's just something about it. It's just every scene's got something, the music, the actors that are in it. I mean, it's just, it might not be the most action-packed, most fast-paced movie, but I don't know. Maybe it's just the source material, and I like that shit too, but I love that fucking movie, dude. It just never gets old.
Do you remember seeing it for the first time?
Yeah, I was in the dorm with you. You had like a VHS of that shit.
Like when you didn't know what to expect, you're watching it for the first time. It's kind of like he took you on a ride. Tarantino did, man. Like when I first saw it, it was in the theater with my dad. And because it was the first time, I was like, man, I most of the movie, I was like, man, what's about to happen to a lot of these people? Like somebody's gonna die throughout. Like I just don't know who yet, and how it's gonna happen. They set it up.
They kill like. I remember watching that movie and being like, oh, fuck, Chris Tucker's in this movie. Like, he's going to be in this Tarantino movie. Dead. Yeah. You know, it's like
one scene.
Yeah, and he kills it. I mean, that motherfucker killed that scene. But yeah, I don't know. I remember watching that shit with you. And I remember, I mean, it's crazy, dude. It's like sometimes you watch things and you remember these weird, deep things. But I do remember, like, when you put it on, I was a fan of Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs. And I was like, man, I don't want to watch this fucking movie about this old lady and fucking whatever the fuck this is. And just through the course of that 2.5 hours, just being like, I mean, that really is like one of the first movies I watched that made me want to watch, you know, not just like watch a movie, but like, how do they make this? Like, this is, I would love to be like, do this. So yeah, maybe that's why I love it so much.
The little time sequence that they did where they're like retelling each person, like the different characters' perspective of how that like final heist or whatever played out, man.
Just the mute, dude, when they just had like when Pam Grier walks out of that jail, and like it's stuff that if you like make movie, I have never made a full movie, but I've seen and I've made my own things with my friends and stuff, and just like all the, like the little things he does, it's just like a close-up of Max Cherry's face, her walking in like this very like picturesque way in that Delphonic song, and it's just like that's what I think Quentin Tarantino sort of how he made gangster movies, but like I think the music especially was a big part of it. It was like Reservoir Dogs, that scene where Madsen cuts the dude's ear off, you know, part of that was the music.
Yeah,
it was just like he always figured a good way, like a really cool way to integrate music into all of his movies, but especially
specifically that style of music.
Yeah, and in this movie, it fits everything because it's like, and it's like a love letter to Pam Grier and like all those movies in a movie that's good. It's just, you know, and it's cool, especially if you know all the background and you just sort of know what they're referencing, like even just like Foxy Brown and like all this stuff that the guy that played Max, Robert Forster, was in. Like he just had Sid Haig's in it. I like, you know,
Sid Haig, he was the judge. Tiny Lister, he was the Winston. And all of Tarantino's movies, that's like kind of his style. They're very character driven.
And that are very, like conversation driven. It's like it's just scenes of like Samuel Jackson dialogue, talking to a stoned ass Robert De Niro about guns and shit. It's just like hilarious, dude. And it's funny and really just it's riveting to me. It sounds like really fucking kind of dramatic to say, but yeah. So check that out. It's on HBO Max if you have it. So
yeah. Only thing I'm going to say to the people: do not watch Fluke. We paid the price. We did it for you, and you're welcome. We're here. This is part of the reason we do this show. One of the many reasons. Don't watch this shit. I still have respect for the people in the movie, some of them, but like the producer, the people who wrote this shit, they should be arrested just like Young Thug and Gunna for RICO charges, because this has affected. I'm sure if you were a child in the 90s that watched this shit, you probably came out like questioning life, and it probably fucked you up and had a long-lasting impact. They talk about surviving R. Kelly. What about the kids who survived watching this goddamn shit in the film theaters?
I mean, somebody got robbed of some money no matter what, but
in their childhood.
hey, Steve, it's cool. When you die, you're going to be a dog. So just chill.
I kind of want to be an eagle, but
fly like an eagle, Steve.
Word to Steve Miller, one of my favorite Steves. But yeah, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Show us where your mom lives. And if you can get in her phone, show us some pictures too. Please also check out Over the Culture and Crushgasm, B3F Podcast, and Don't Worry, B Movies. This is Steve G and Matt G with Happened in the 90s.
Bitch.